Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the last Skills for All webinar of this season. My name is Marko Valencic, and I'm happy to present you another Skills for All webinar and the last one of season 24-25. We started this season with the countrywide development and move on to the kids recruitment, retention, learn to play program, going on to the game officials programs and moving to the high performance programming, national teams programming. And today, the final webinar of this season is a successful club example. And we are same as every time. It will be about 50 to 75 minutes today, and we will be talking about our main topic and then discussing about the IIHF initiatives, what we did during this season, as well as after. We'll have a discussion and questions and answers. And same as always, this season we have two streams. So one is a YouTube stream that everybody can sit and watch and listen to our presenters, and then the Zoom stream, which is open for everybody as well, where after that presentation we will have a discussion and we will have a questions and answers. But on both YouTube and Zoom, you are more than welcome and encouraged to ask the questions in our chat with our chat function that can be asked later on as well. And on the Zoom option, you will be able to ask questions after the presentation is done. So today we will talk about the successful club examples, and I'm really happy that I had a pleasure to talk with Knut and Quintin, who are working with Jar, which is the second biggest club in Norway, and they have about 137 members in a skating school, and they started a little bit more than 10 years ago. Their story started with only 40 members, and today they have over 800 members. So it's a really great success story, and I'm really happy that they were willing to share their story with us and to share their experiences with us, and really to inspire everybody to see what are the ways how you can develop the club and how you can get better. So without further ado, I'm happy to share the video with all of you that we recorded yesterday, and let's watch it together.
All right, I think we're good to go, so I think we just get started. So, hi everyone, my name is Quintin, and I will be presenting my club, or the club I work for, Jar Idrettslag, today. Before we get started, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Marco, and also the IIHF for giving us the opportunity to share our story with all of you. And it's an honor and a privilege for us to be sitting here talking to all of you about our club and our journey, and we're very excited to do so. So, without further ado, let's move on to today's topic. What we'll try to do is we'll try to give you the complete picture of how our organization operates, what it is we offer, how we have managed to grow over the years and the different steps we have had to take. And to do that, we'll talk about some of the different topics that we most frequently get asked questions about, such as, how the club is structured, how we handle the financial aspect, the economics, how does sports plan look like, what are the different programs we offer, and we'll try to give good examples. We'll touch on a lot of different things. We won't be able to go very deep into everything. We'll still try to be time efficient, but at the end of the presentation, if there are still questions lingering or you still had something on your mind, we'll be there to answer those questions as well. So going into it, starting with an introduction. Who are we? I'm sure a lot of you watching right now haven't heard about YAR before, and even in Norway, not everyone is familiar with who we are and what it is we do. So to start us off today, I'll show you a little video that was actually made by one of the parents in our club, which I think sets the scene very well. The video is in Norwegian, but a lot of what's being said in the video will be mentioned throughout this presentation as well. So we'll get back to most of the things anyway. See if the video works. Looks like it does.
Idrettsglede, vennskap, en aktiv hverdag sammen. JAR Isforum et idrettshjerte I vårt nærmiljø med over 6000 besøkende hver uke. Utøvere og gjester. Samhold på tvers av generasjoner. En treningshverdag hvor vi skaper sterke bånd på trening og på tribunen. Det et yrende liv hver dag, hver uke I og rundt vårt idrettsanlegg. Tusenvis av biler og rundt 150 busser passerer daglig vårt anlegg I Storengveien. Sportslig den yngre generasjonen I fokus. De utvikler fremtidens utøvere, men toppidrett ikke vår arena. I trygge og hyggelige rammer skal vi være en samlende enhet for idrett I vårt nærmiljø. Vårt etter skoletilbud populært. Etter henting på skole benyttes vårt anlegg til sosialisering, lekser, trening og lek. Vi har passert 1000 medlemmer innen både håndball, fotball, bryting, kunstløp og ishockey. Vi stolte av klubben vår, som også I stadig utvikling. Derfor støtten fra våre samarbeidspartnere viktig for oss. Vi håper at enda flere blir med på laget.
All right, so who are we in a nutshell? As we're a sports club located just outside of Oslo. We're located in a small neighborhood called JAR. So hence the name of our organization, JAR Idrettslag. And it's a true neighborhood club. It's by the community, for the community. And we're located in the heart of this little neighborhood. So we're an authentic neighborhood club. And even the privately owned facility that opened its doors in 2013, even that is quite unique. It's right across from the neighborhood church. It's in the middle of all the houses, and I think nowadays you can't imagine a building being built in an area like this. It would go straight to the development of housing. So it's a quite unique location even. And since the opening, it has been one of the fastest growing clubs inside all of Norway. And today we have over 1,000 active members inside our club. And like I said, the rink is right in the heart of the neighborhood, and we aim to play a pivotal role in our community as well through our sports offering. And so it's a very well visited center for the people in the area. We have over 8,000 visitors weekly coming in and out of the rink, and the whole club is essentially being ran by two people, one of which is myself. So like I said at the start of the presentation, I'm Quentin. I joined the organization during the pandemic in 2020 and became the director of sports for the organization. I also work for the women's U18 Norwegian national team as a coach, as well as learn to play instructor for the IIHF and also as a regional coach supervisor for the Norwegian Ice Hockey Federation. And then the other person, or my boss, who I also have the pleasure of introducing as the next speaker, is Knut Henrik Spets, who's the GM of the entire organization. His background is also in ice hockey. He had a successful pro career as a player himself. He's a former national team player, and these days he's very much the backbone of this entire organization. It's under his leadership that the club has experienced remarkable growth, becoming the second largest ice hockey club in Norway in just a decade. So I'll pass the word on to Knut Henrik, who will share with you how all of that happened and his experience over the past 10 years.
Yes, thank you, Quentin, for a nice introduction. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history, the club structure, the facility, and a little bit about our economics in the club. Jar Sports Club has a long story, as you see from the logo. The club was founded back in early 1934. In the beginning, they have sports as soccer, ski jumping, and track and field. In 1952, they established ice hockey as a sport in the sports club. Back then, when they have auto rink, everything in the club was voluntary and parent driven. Finally, in 2013, the club, after many years with work, got a new rink. At that time, when the rink was new, the club had 40 players and 3 teams and was still parent driven. With a new rink, the club raised their members year by year, but they didn't grow as much as they want and was necessary to keep the club and rink alive. In 2018, I got involved in the club as a general manager. The oldest team they had at that time was U12, kids born in 2007, who started on our skating school when the rink was new. When I started, it was a lot to take care of. It was no system, and all the teams was their own club in the club. So the biggest job was to get all the teams on the same page and start work from there. In 2020, we signed Quentin as a sports director for the ice hockey group. To build it bigger and better, and to have 2 full-time workers is definitely a big factor for our journey we made us in few years, to be the second biggest club in Norway. It's pretty crazy, as Quentin mentioned, because we are just a neighborhood club and compete against clubs who have the whole cities in the back. I will later in the presentation come back how we work to build the club and to come where we are today. The club structure we have, you see here, is our map for a club structure. We have a multi-sport club with 6 different sports. We have the sports club on the top of the umbrella, and I am the general manager of the club. The 6 sports we offer is curling, football, wrestling, figure skating, handball, and ice hockey. The numbers under the category is how many members each category have. Ice hockey is by far our biggest sport. And in the ice hockey group, Quentin is the sports director. The club also owns their own rink, which is good in one way because we can decide much by ourselves, but it also costs the club much money to run the rink a year around. When the rink opened in 2013, the ice hockey club has 3 teams and 40 players, as mentioned before. Now, 12 years later, the club has 788 players and over 40 teams signed up for our competition. We have teams all the way from U7 to veteran. The senior teams in the club is outside the club and run everything by themselves. It is just an offer we have to keep players in the sport longer. All we do as a club and focus on is the teams from U18 and down on boys and girls side. All we do is for children and young people. From the club was parent driven to I come in the club, my biggest task was to make the teams we have to a common club and feel ownership and belonging to the club and rink. We started with skating school and set as a goal that we every year should have 50 kids who should come in to our U17 from skating school. We saw that this number was necessary to run at least 2 teams when they come up to U16 age. And then we can have 2 teams for more than 1 level and offer activity for all players who have developed a lot or developed less, wants to play ice hockey. We have since 2018 never sent under 50 kids from the skating school to over U17. So we have reached our goal every year. But it's hard work to recruit the kids to skating school and make the practice so fun that the kids will stay in our sport and not go to other sports. The club is also in the first parent meeting dictating the journey and telling the parents and players how it is in our clubs and the goals the club have with the sports and the development for their kids. That has been a success to keep kids in the club. The parents trust the leaders and know their kids having a safety environment with good educated coaches when they are in the club and on the practice. When the rink was new, it was built as one full-size hockey rink, as you see on the picture, the big rink, and one curling rink, in the picture mentioned as small rink. In Norway, it's taken many years to get large facilities to get through the system. So we saw when we raised the members that we don't have space to raise much more if we don't have more ice available. So with the growing of members in the ice hockey club and few members in the curling club, we decided to make ice hockey rink also in the curling rink. We set up boards and now around in the curling rink, and now our youngest team, U7 to U10, practice there on daily basis. We also built an outdoor rink, as you see on the picture, with collection from members and people in the neighborhood. On our outdoor rink is no bucket activity, just free play, and this rink is normally open from December to April. Indoor, we are one of the few rinks in Norway who has ice year-round, since we own the rink since the club owns the rink. And we also have facilities as wrestling room, gym, meeting rooms, and nice facilities for our visitors. As you all know, it's not free to run an ice rink. It costs a lot, and our members pay for every hour they practice. A team pay €160 per hour they practice on ice in our rink. It's cost to be a member in the club, but not as much as people leave the club. We try to keep the cost as low as possible, and all the team's membership fee cover the activity cost. For example, the fee for a U7 finance the U7 activity, no other teams or other project. With many members on every team, we can keep the cost low for each player. We have started many projects which gives us more freedom the economic way. Projects as camps, after-school program, morning practices, and academics. A project were really successful in our club. Our projects finance our coaches, and all the money we earn come back to the kids and club. We don't give any money to elite clubs or senior teams and in that way. We have, since I started working here, raised our turnover from 3.2 million Norwegian crowns to 18 million Norwegian crowns in 7 years. That's because we have more members for sure, but also that our side project have been really good and attractive with good coaches, and parents trust the good activity we give their kids. People come from other clubs around in the area, and also we have visitors from other countries who have started to join our project. Many of our projects also have waiting lists, and that's for sure give the club a good economy. I think that was it. Pass it over to Quentin again.
Yep. Thank you very much. So what I'll be doing on the sports side is, in the following slides, we'll take a little closer look at all the activity we organize inside our rink. And we'll actually start off with another video that has been made by one of our former coaches, Eric Evans. Because in the video we already talk a little bit about our vision and our philosophy when it comes to the sports side of our organization. Ours motto is mest mulig, längst mulig, best mulig, which roughly translates to as many as possible for as long as possible and as good as possible. And that is really something we strive towards, is to have an offer for anyone who's interested in participating in our sport, no matter age or level. I think that's what makes IR unique. The ice rink opened its doors 10 years ago. There were about 40 members inside the club spread out over 3 teams. In really just 10 years, the club grew out to the second largest club in all of Norway in terms of members. On this day, we have over 750 active members spread out over 40 teams. For us to recruit new players, we think that the program we have has to be exceptional. If you have a quality program, people will come to it.
I think players keep playing hockey in IR because they have so much fun when they are in the rink. Our coaches work to create a fun and engaging environment at our practices. I think we keep the player in our club because we have like a good development program, players like who really want to be hockey players, but we also are like a place and home for players who just want to come and enjoy friends and have fun on ice. The club only have 2 full-time employees, so the rest is volunteers. If you are win prize money, we will use them to make courses to educate volunteer coaches or send volunteer coaches to courses so we can develop them, where we hope make a better and safer on and off the ice program for boys and girls in the club. IR don't have any senior teams who give us like a big advance because everything we're doing we do for kids and youth development, so all the coaches, all the money we go back to the kids for activity and fun on and off the ice.
All right, so a little bit about our philosophy, and we already mentioned it in the video, is and I think that really encapsulates our motto is as many as possible for as long as possible and as good as possible. Or in other words, recruitment, retention, and development. Those 3 pillars really guide all the decisions we made, and everything we do is to ensure the continued involvement of players, young players in hockey. We want to be able to offer an appealing option for all players regardless of their level or their age. If you have an interest in hockey, if you want to play, you are more than welcome, and we'll make sure that there is a suitable option for you within our club for you to participate in hockey. And so that way we want to ensure an offer for everyone regardless of level or age. One thing that allows us to do that is that IR does not have an adult elite team by choice. It's a strategic choice that allows us to allocate all of our time and devote all of our resources to our core mission, which is the development of the next generation of hockey players. So we're very deliberately putting our focus and emphasis on the younger generation of players in our club. But keep in mind, like I said, we still want to have an offer for everyone. So as you can see, the club has teams at every level and at every age group to cater for that wide variety of skill level and interests among our members. So IAR has at least 2 teams in every age category, which makes it possible for us to offer a suitable program for both our highly ambitious players, but also for those who prefer ice hockey more recreationally. Now, Knut already mentioned our senior teams, for example, they take care of themselves. It's not an elite senior team. That's recreational adult hockey. So they take care of themselves. They don't fall under the club umbrella, so to speak. When it comes to Wildcats, just to explain that a little bit further, that's our all-girls program. So especially in recent years, we've invested heavily in the recruitment and sort of building up also the girls' side of our organization. It might look like that on the slide, but the skating school is mixed. We don't have separate skating schools. So boys and girls are mixed. And then in the younger ages, the Wildcats offer is an additional offer. So U7, U8, U9, U10, those are all mixed teams. It's boys and girls together. But on the girls' side, and without going too deep into this, on the girls' side, often once a week there will be an all-girl practice just to sort of promote that community and the social aspect of being among girls. And then in later years, the girls' program will be more separate from the boys. Like I said, 2 teams at every age group is the goal to try and accommodate for everybody's level and interest and ambition. So building the foundation is what we do. That's kind of what we believe in. And we truly believe that our emphasis on being development driven rather than result driven has made it possible for us to keep a large number of players in our club and has allowed us to grow bigger every single season. And something that has enabled that, and something we are very proud of and we think is important to underscore, is that our retention rates are exceptionally high. An overwhelming majority of our members have surpassed 3 years or more of participation in ice hockey with us. And with most of those players also opting to stay with us until they are 16 and also beyond. So we checked it out recently, and actually less than 3% of players have been in our club for less than 3 years. So the retention of players is what has allowed us to grow bigger every single year. And we believe that it's because of our focus on building a very good foundation. Now, because we don't have an adult elite team, our long-term player development plan or structure, our goal is very much that retention rate. If we see, if we're not result driven, how do we as a club measure success? And that retention rate is what we look at to measure our success. The amount of players that stay involved in the sport is how we know we're doing a good job. Another thing we look at, since we don't have an adult elite team, is as you can see on the slide, the different stages of development set by the Norwegian Ice Hockey Federation. Since we don't have an adult elite team, the way we look at it is we're trying to develop players who are attractive for the national team program. So we're trying to build the next generation of Norwegian national team players. In Norway, when you transition from U16 into U18, what happens is a lot of players choose to go to a specialized hockey high school. So most of the bigger clubs have a private high school that they work together with, and most ambitious players will try to get into one of those high schools. So we see that every year more and more of our players get into those schools and end up in those bigger clubs. So that's also something we look at as something we're doing right. So we're aware that when players reach the age of 16, that they might want to transition to another club, and that's okay. But again, after 16, it's just a handful of our players that might get into one of those schools. We still want to have an offer for all the other players who might still be interested in continuing playing with hockey. And so the different stages, the way they are outlined by the federation, since we are interested in developing the next Norwegian national team players, we follow all the guidelines and recommendations set out by the Norwegian Ice Hockey Federation, which you can find on the website hockey.no. And there they have the long-term player development pathway for all players. And so we use that to guide all of our decisions as well. Essentially, we want to be a model club inside of Norway that the federation can look at and say that, you know, what JAR is doing is a really good example of what a club should look like working with those ages. So what that looks like in our club, from skating school to U7 to U8, everything is about recruitment. We're trying to get enough players in, and Knut has said it before, we need those 50 members because from experience we know that is a critical mass to get that boat, to get that berth year through the rest of the journey comfortably. So we know from experience that we need about 50 kids per berth year at the start, U7, U8, to make sure that we have enough that'll last them through the years if we want to have those 2 teams at every age group. And so at the youngest years, 2 sessions a week is what we have on the small rink, the way you saw in the picture, at least for U7 and U8. And they're all managed by parent coaches with support from the club, of course. So we'll have presentations by the club to explain what we want from the practice sessions and to provide practice plans. Everything is station-based activity, but we're very reliant on our parent coaches. We have a very close-knit community inside our rink. A lot of the parents know each other from on the ice, and so it's very easy to walk in the rink and discuss hockey with all of the parent coaches. And at those ages, they play 3 versus 3 cross ice. One little thing I should mention, for skating school, that's on the big rink. And skating school is by far our most important program. That's our flagship program. It's got a very good reputation as well, the skating school. And since the day the rink opened its doors, it's been the same time every Tuesday and every Saturday. And those times have never changed, and they also won't change. So we keep them the same to make sure that people know exactly when it's going to take place and what they can expect. This year we had 138 kids in skating school, which is a really good number for us, very promising for the next couple of years. And those sessions are all organized by the club. So we'll have club coaches on the ice, and all players from U15 and older take volunteer turns as assistant coaches on the skating school as well. So that's not just parent coaches, that's very much run by the club. After that, in the ages U9, U10, it's 3 sessions a week, twice on weekdays, once on the weekend, all sessions on the smaller curling rink, led by parent coaches. Again, everything is station-based activity. And at this age in Norway as well, they play 3-on-3 cross ice. After that, we move into the U11, U12, U13 categories, which in Norway is still under child sport rules. They practice 3 sessions a week, 2 times on weekdays on the big rink, and 1 session a week on the smaller curling rink. In these age groups, there is a club coach who is in charge, that provides the yearly plan, the weekly practice plan, the entire framework around the team, but very reliant still on help from parent coaches who assist the club coach on practices. So station-based activities still, 3 versus 3 cross ice, except for U13. That's the first year where they start playing 5 versus 5 full ice in Norway. And then we get to the U14, U15, U16 stages. And like I mentioned, these stages are the final stages before transitioning to youth hockey, U18. And here we have an umbrella cooperation with another club that's close by in the neighborhood. It's a 15-minute drive from our rink. And why we have that cooperation is because, one, like I said, we need critical mass in order to be able to have 2 teams in every age category. So our 2 clubs cooperate to provide those 2 teams. And we are able to offer more practice and better quality in practice. So we're able to offer them 4 sessions a week by combining the ice time in our 2 rinks. Knut Henrik mentioned it in his part about the facility. At some point we grow so big that we had to start looking at other solutions in order to be able to provide the necessary amount of ice time for all of our players. So in these age groups we have a cooperation, and each team has their own club coach. And then, like I said before as well, we still think it's important to have a good offer for after the U16 teams. So we have a U18 offer as well, and here everything is about retention. We try to keep as many players inside the sport of hockey and try to keep the social community that they have, the friendships that they've built over the years. We try to keep that group of players together and make sure that we still have an offer for a wide variety of interests. Some are still very ambitious and want to compete at a high level. Some just want to move more into recreational hockey. We make sure that we have an offer for everyone. So ranging from 2 times up to 4 times a week, you still have an offer in our club. So that's pretty much over the different age groups, how the activity is structured and what it looks like. One other program that we offer inside the club that I wanted to mention is our after school program. And what that is every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, players from U8 up to U13 can sign up for this program. And if you sign up, we pick the kids up from school, we bring them to the rink. They eat lunch at the rink, so we'll have sandwiches out for them and they'll have something to eat real quick before they go down into the locker room and change, and then we'll go on the ice with them from 2:30 to 3:30 on those days. And it's across those different age groups, so the age ranges from U8 to U13, so it's very big differences in age and level, but we just all get together on the ice. It's all club coaches there who take care of the practice, and it's one big station-based practice. And that program, when me and Knut started out with this. The first year I did it, at least, I think we had 10 to 20 skaters on those sessions. But every year it grew so much in popularity. Now we have over 60 kids signed up every single day. And so we've started using both rinks. So we have a big group on the big rink and then a smaller group on the small rink. And that has been a huge part in building the community in our club. And like Knut Henrik mentioned in the beginning, it was very much a bunch of clubs inside the club. But this interaction between players from different age categories and getting to know each other on a different way has really helped with the social aspect in the club. And that's actually became one of our most popular programs. Because what happens is after they get off the ice at 3:30, everybody will go up, they just take their skates off and the top half of their equipment. They'll have a quick snack, start making their homework, and they just hang out at the rink until they have their evening practice. So there's a lot of socializing and being together at the rink to the point where the rink kind of becomes their second home. And this is where families talk over a cup of coffee and get to know each other. And that's been huge for the development of our club over the years. So that's really, in a nutshell, what we do, what we've been working hard for the past couple of years. It's what's really special about the club and over the years that I'm here is that we certainly aren't perfect. There's still a lot of things we want to do better, but every single year, around this time of year when the season is over and we start planning towards the next season, we get together with a lot of people and we start planning for the next season. And when we get back from summer, there's such a big step forward that we've taken year after year. And I feel like as long as we're able to do that, to take those big steps forward after summer, then we're headed in the right direction. So that's what we're looking forward to do now as well. Seeing as it's the last webinar of this season, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Marco, on another great season with these Skills4All webinars. You've had some great speakers again this year, and I mean, especially for a club like ours, webinars like these are a great resource to get new ideas and inspiration. So thank you for all the hard work and keep up the good work. And if anyone has some questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the kind words on the end of the presentation. I'm happy to hear those comments. And going to this season and how everything what we had in this season, one of the biggest projects what we've had. Give me a second, I will move this so you can see better. Here, one of the bigger projects what we have was the Partnership for Progress seminars, and those seminars we are running during the World Championships. So our goal of the Partnership for Progress program is that during every IIHF championship we organize some kind of a development event, and this is a really crucial part as well for us in order to help develop the federations and the clubs as well, because clubs are a big part of the federation. And last season we had 15 different events that we helped and hosted and run the seminars, and this season we had 17 different events. For next season, our goal is to have at least 17 and of course more. events, and the plan is to have all the hosts who are hosting the World Championships in different divisions to run some kind of a development activity. And that development activity can be as small as gathering all the clubs in one place and discussing what are the next steps further for development of their country. So basically, we are really planning together the content and the process and actual days of the seminar together with the host countries. And one, as mentioned, last two webinars, our biggest coaching symposium and biggest seminar is the IIHF International Coaching Symposium that is happening every year during the IIHF World Championship. And this year it will be 17th and 18th of May in Stockholm, in Sweden, during our top event, as always. And we will have we will have two different streams. One stream will be for the player coaches, and another stream will be for the goalkeeper coaches. So some lectures will be joined, some lectures will be separate, as well as the workshops. And we are really happy to invite you all to join and to participate. There is a QR code for the registration, and as part of that registration and as part of the fee that is paid to cover the cost, we include 3 tickets for 3 different games on the 17th and 18th. So we will be really happy to see all of you joining us, or as many as possible joining us on our event. And now, since we are kind of close to an end, and it's been a really great season, you can find all our presenters and all our webinars on our IIHF platform or on our IIHF.com. And here is as well the QR code that you can find recordings as well as presentation in the online from all the seasons that we ran the webinar. And because we are as well trying to constantly develop and trying to constantly get better and be better and listen the needs, so really have this targeted development approach of listening the needs people who are joining us on the webinars and all the federations as well. So we would have more targeted topics and more topics that maybe that are more concerned or more interested, or that you feel that they could be better, or they are more important. So you can scan this QR code, or you can go to the page that shows here, and there is a short questionnaire, eight questions with your suggestions. There is not too much. It's more about looking at the future to hear your opinion. Okay, when would be the perfect time, the perfect date, and maybe the perfect like the best months of the year, as well as what would be the topics, or maybe even just specifics and speakers that you would like to hear. So this is really for us important. If you could go there and do that questionnaire, because that helps us to help you. It helps us to really have this targeted approach and to really move it to the next step as we wish for the next season. And for all our YouTube listeners and for the recording purposes, I'm really happy for this season, and thank you all for participating, everybody who joined, everybody who sent messages and emails, and really looked our Skills4All webinars, because we are doing it to help each other and to share the good stories and share great examples and to inspire each other. Inspiring each other, it's a really important part of it. So thank you again for the great season, and looking forward to hearing your comments, which you can again put through this QR code, and looking forward to the next season.